So today we're here with Corey LeGrand. Did I fuck up your name?
Nope.
Damn.
Got it right.
All right. So we're here to check out his event, which is the second time that he's hosted a event for black men down here in Fort Lauderdale. And we're here to kind of see how it runs. And this is not my usual hello.
Go away.
I didn't ask for you. Are you hosting an event?
You calling one.
All right, so talk to us about why we're here. What's going on today?
All right. For the most part, I have a podcast. It's called Break Time, and I spend most of my time like promoting community service. I do serve the community. That's one of my big things. But one of my bigger things that I really am a champion for and I'm passionate about is men's health. I'm a man. I have a son.
Gracious.
But there's a lot of like, I guess, as far as my community and men in my community, things that we just don't know about. We've been obsolete from it. We could blame, toxic masculinity or the ideals that society has placed on us to why we're ignorant of what's going on. So I'm here to kind of bring light to it. And it's amazing how some of the guys that participate in my events are like, wow, I didn't even know that. And I've been doing this for like 20, 30 years. And to them, that's like normality.
So what was your first event?
My first event was like break time. We need a break.
Yeah.
We talked about normal things that men go through, especially black men, handling stress, anxiety. How does it feel to handle anxiety? How that trickles into other relationships that we have with other people. Communicating. What is toxic masculinity? And it's funny when we talked about it, there's like a million different definitions. There's really no spot on thing about it. Sure. And by talking about it, we came up with solutions of how we can kind of like bail ourselves out. Adopting an accountability partner, a check-in buddy. And we did certain activities and stuff. And it really kind of built a nice union with us. And they're itching to have another one, which is why we're here today for the second round.
So I know you have break time.
Yeah.
Listen to your podcast,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And somehow that connects to the event that you started 6 months ago. Right. What was that moment for you? What was the thing that sparked it off and made you say, okay, what we really need to do is?
Well, for the most part, when people listen to my show or they follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or even go to my website, like seeing people out in the open in my community say, man, you're doing some great things, and also getting invites to certain things. I got invited to like our local radio station to talk about what I do and what I'm passionate about. And there was a segment when people called in, and it was mostly men calling in, asking these questions. And because of that, the feedback I got, the positive feedback, it encouraged me. Like, well, I got to keep this thing going. Yeah. Whether I like it or not, I'm a champion of the people now, And my cousin said it best. He actually participated. He's older. And he said, you know what, in society, not just in the black community, but globally, he feels that society is like thirsting for a leader because there's just nobody there. And it's like, unfortunately, because we're in this type of situation, we end up, accepting anything as leadership, or we should follow this, or we should follow that. And it's like no one really has an identity. We're just wandering around in the dark. So I guess like in this situation, at least in my small village, I guess I just position myself to be that person.
So your first event
yeah.
was about things like stress, anxiety, so
right.
a lot of mental health related things.
Correct.
What are we going to be seeing today?
Today is about mentorship. At the end of the last one I did, I polled the audience. I was like, you know what, if we were to make this a continuous thing, like what some of the topics that you would like to know about or talk about? And the biggest thing was mentorship. Like these men want to be involved, but they just don't know how. Mm-hmm. The resources are there, but there's a disconnect. So we're going to find out today more so what's the disconnect. We also brought in other exhibitors and other organizations and local schools. Principals are coming in and trying to recruit these men because, hey, we need men in our schools as mentors.
Students. Absolutely.
Additionally, what I also am bringing out too, well, we'll see if they make it because I know they had like a scheduled conference, is actually one of the local elderly homes that are going to come by too. As you guys know, well, for those of you guys that don't know, I am a real big advocate for elderly health care. I'm always doing something with the elderly. So me mentoring, you'll probably find me at someone's senior citizen home. I mean, because I nothing wrong with helping out kids, but I think
nothing wrong with that. You're okay with people helping out
as
kids.
A dad, right?
It's like, all right,
But but let's be honest, like kids have so many resources, you know, like there's so many, it's easier to just grab a mentor for a child, right? But there are other like generations or group communities of people that don't have it.
So you see the gap worse there.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at all the crimes that happen in senior citizen homes towards senior citizens.
True.
I mean, we have elderly out here that, you know, maybe they have dementia and they walk out in the street and don't know what's going on. Maybe a mentor can actually block that. Or, I mean, I could go on and on and on, but you get the gist. Yeah, well, that's true too. That's true too. So, I mean, we talked about that a lot. And on Mondays and Saturdays, except this Saturday, I volunteer at the local library and I teach the elderly about computers. And the beautiful thing about them is that they really want to learn technology, but no one is taking the time out to just walk them through it. And it's like, you know, we start out as children, but ultimately we come back as children as we get older, the way we behave and the way we think. And now that they're at that point in their lives, not saying that they're children, but they don't have the regular 9-to-5 stressors that we deal with now, so they have nothing but time. So they supplement this time with learning about technology, which brings them back into the world, which they'll no longer fall in victim to, like, you know, credit card situations, identity thefts, because now they are more aware.
That's wonderful. And I really do, it's one of the things that I was really intrigued by with your event is this kind of focus on the mentoring. I have had one of my mentors is a black man, and he and I have had a lot of conversations about mentoring, and one of the things that really struck me was him telling me that, and he's older, he's, you know, what some people would consider nearing the end of his career, but knowing him, it's not going to be.
Yeah.
And he told me that he had never had a professional mentor, not one in his entire career. Wow. And then one of my students sitting across the table from me, also an adult, not in his 20s, probably in his 40s, also a black man, telling me that he didn't know how to have this conversation because he'd never had a mentor before. Right. So that is a huge gap that I see. And I even see when I'm doing pipeline lectures at the University of Maryland, the men of color are the least likely to come reach out afterwards. So this is a really important thing. Now, you mentioned something, you talked about exhibitors, right? So talk to me a little bit about the format of what's going to happen in there.
All right, so basically what's going to happen is you're going to come in, the audience is going to be sitting right there in front of us. I'm painting the picture, right? Around out, we're going to have, like,
over here. Where am I looking?
We have tables around, audience in the middle, screen in the back, right, the drop. But at the tables is going to be people from, like I said, different nonprofit organizations, certain middle schools. And what I try to do is I've tried to get organizations that are centrally located, because I don't know where these guys are coming from. So I wanted them to at least get somewhere where it's evenly to get to, like easy to get to. You could be living in South Broward or North Broward, 15, 20 minutes you're at the location. I couldn't get a lot of everything from every corner. But again, these guys want to do it. They just don't know how to, and they don't have the resources. So today we're just going to give them some guiding points. And some folks, like the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, will be here.
That's great.
The 5,000 Role Model is a huge initiative that was set by President Obama. It's ran by Frederica Wilson for our state or our district. And it's a huge, huge project. So if you guys want to see what the 5,000 Role Models are like, definitely go to their website. And it is massive. So they're going to be here today. I'm going to have other, like, small friend, like churches or whatever, come in by as well, just to get mentors as well. So again, if they live in that area, great. But if they don't, these people will definitely share information. Like, listen, I might be too far from you, but if you go to this location, this is what you need to do, and this is going to happen, and they'll be waiting for you when you get there.
That's awesome. So you had exhibitors.
Yes.
Bunch of different schools, nonprofits.
Correct.
Is there anything else that's going to be happening in there?
Well, we're going to also have panelists. I actually invited a lot of close friends of mine that I grew up with for the most part, but they're amazing people. So it's not really biased, but when you look at their
it's
resume,
like a little bit of cronyism, but you're saying it's the right kind of cronyism.
Right,
Okay,
but it meshes well with the event, right?
Yes.
So I do have one. I go down the list of my people that are coming. I'm going to be doing something differently. So I'm going to be Skyping into one of my good friends, Amara. He was here at my first event, and he, like, rocked the house. But unfortunately, he's not going to be with us here today. He's going to be in Tennessee. So he's going to be streaming live. We're going to have him on video, and the audience will get a chance to see him and talk to him. He's a motivational speaker. He's been a mentor. He's a U.S. Marine veteran, retired, and he spends a lot of time talking to kids, but kids in a juvenile institution. That's a unique community right there. After that, I have my buddy Albert, who I grew up with as well. We kind of grew up in the same lifestyle and same neighborhood, so we kind of had like the same views on things. But he took it a step further. He actually started a mentoring nonprofit committee, and he gives out scholarships every year, like ranging between $10,000 to $20,000 scholarships for young men. And he actually focuses on a different type of young man, right? So, of course, in our K through 12, right, secondary, high school, preschool, whatever. They always focus on the kids with the 3.0, 4.0 or higher.
Yes.
They get up, like with little or nothing, they get stuff thrown at them, right?
Yes.
Then you got the kids on the other end that barely get a 2.0. They get the, come on, you could do it, you can do it, you could do it. But what about that middle of the road kid? Those middle of the road kids like myself, like I graduated with a 2.1 flat. No one really paid me any attention, but they assumed that, hey, he's a good kid, he doesn't get in trouble, he doesn't need the encouragement. So there'll be times I could be going through stuff, but I don't have...
No one was there.
No one was there. And so what he did was he created his thing to focus on that. I do not want the kid with a 3.0. I do not want the kid that has been expelled several times. I want that kid that has like a 2.0 doing just enough, but staying out of trouble, but flying under the radar.
Yeah.
And just that little acknowledgement that I exist might make me a shooting star. You know what I'm saying? So Albert Gibbs will be here for that. He's going to talk about his program. My other buddy who I grew up with since we was like 5 years old, Antonio Burgess, he's going to be here. He's actually the director for the 5,000 role models for the city, well, for the county. He's a very big deal. He's going to talk about how that program's impacting everything.
That's wonderful. And all joking aside about cronyism, this is a great example of the power of community.
Correct.
And how once you're connecting with these folks who are doing amazing things, so much more can be done when you come together.
Correct. And everybody could eat off of that, right?
That's
and
right.
After Antonio is I have Dr. Tasha. Dr. Tasha is a clinical psychiatrist. But funny thing with her is she specializes in definitely doing therapy in the black community, but she has this je ne sais quoi that she's like the male whisperer, right? She has guys just come out here and just say stuff like, oh, did I just say that? Like she has a way of connecting with men and it's one of those where she's not shaking her finger at you type deals, but she's talking to you and really make you think and gives some provoking conversations to make you thought-provoking conversations, really make you think about what's going on with yourself. Yeah. So I brought her in, so she's going to come in today and she's going to talk about, just socializing, how important it is just to communicate and network, how important relationships are in the development of any human being, not just kids, not just women, but humans in general. So she's going to talk about that. She's going to swing by for a little bit, and then I'm going to close it off with my good friend Katrina, also known as Poetess. I've known her for a long time. She is a pillar in the community. She does a lot of mentorship. She does. I remember when I was in high school, she was like our step team coach, and our step team was like phenomenal. But the thing is, every child that went through a program is doing so awesome in life. I mean, some of them are news anchors, some of them actually work on Capitol Hill, some of them are principals, attorneys, judges, and like she has inspired them to see something that they didn't see within themselves, right? So I felt that it was important to bring her in there because she's still a teacher, believe it or not. She still works for the school board, but she's seeing it right here on the ground level because we're not in the classroom, right? We don't know what's going on. As people on the outside, all we can rely on are reports and someone else's perception of our child.
Right.
So she will actually just kind of give you like an overall view of what it is that these kids are experiencing. And if you decide to become a mentor, what kind of conversations you should be having. Yeah. Not like, hey, let's go get something to eat. Maybe, are you prepared to take the SAT? How do you feel about class? Do you even like this class?
What's going on right now?
What's going
really
on?
Going in. Mm-hmm.
And some of those conversations that aren't had, or sometimes our parents or even our mentors don't know how to have them. So those are pretty much my lineup of everybody that's coming out today.
Well, that sounds really exciting, and I am genuinely looking forward to seeing everything, exhibitors, panel, everything else. Is there anything else that we should know about your event today?
It's definitely free. All of my events are free. I pay for it. Right now, finalizing my 501c3, so I get some donors because it is becoming expensive.
Yeah.
But honestly, I guess it's that pro-social behavior, where it's just like it's invigorating. You're doing the right thing. Yeah. Someone's benefiting off of this. But other than that, if you would like to catch up more on it, we'll be posting links of it on there, videos of it on my website, www.itsbreaktime.work. So definitely check me out on there.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
All right.
Yes. All right. That wraps up that one.
That's like the fires.
I know. It's just
fire
like
in
some
the
nice
background.
ambiance and